to the Maya Akai Show featuring comedian Nikki Braden. I've been spot on with the music today.
Yeah, you have.
My dream was just, it
Good
was so intuitive.
job.
I don't know how to unload this. So you are listening to Smooth at 90.5 FM HD radio, or maybe via Sirius XM channel 432. And of course, we are streaming worldwide via Live 365. Our very special iHeart.com link. Go to my Facebook page, the Maya Akai Show, check out how you can listen via iHeartRadio. So there's something different going on, but hey, once you figure it out, it'll be all good. And of course, if you'd like to watch and listen, because we use Ustream for that, you can see me doing my Michael Jackson impression in studio. Just log on to the station website, wjsjbcradio.com, and you can watch and listen, or click the link to just listen. So many ways that you can listen to the show. If you'd like to join the conversation, don't be shy. 708-223-0030, or you can always get social at the Maya Akai Show via Facebook and Twitter.
Nikki Braden.
All right, so we wrapped up Media Faux Pas, ending him with Ann Coulter, who got the bye Felicia. Even though she said a couple things, I was like, okay, Ann, I'm going to raise an eyebrow, but it's hard for me to process anything you say because of what you usually say.
She makes it really hard to process.
That's why I said sometimes you got to.
You just immediately, when her mouth moves, you go la 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 la. You just immediately.
That's why I try to listen to people have to say to see if there's anything in there that makes any sense. Mm-hmm. But I did agree with her about Nikki Haley. I do feel that this was more a knee-jerk reaction because it wasn't on her agenda prior to this.
She was forced.
So I feel like she was forced into it.
She was.
Sometimes that's how stuff happens as people get forced.
Just get it done. I don't care.
Right, get it done. Stop talking about it. Let's take this a vote and let's get it removed.
You were forced in and now fix it.
Exactly.
Fair.
So, we're going to move on to social media mavericks and Facebook petty. And our first candidate for social media mavericks, and by the way, this person was not trying to be a maverick.
He is
a victim of, I think he might be a victim of circumstance. So, Curtis Cook is a Texan firefighter who actually lost his volunteer position due to a Facebook post that appears that potentially he supported an alleged Charleston, the gunman.
People.
Okay, so here's the crazy thing. Curtis Cook has been a volunteer firefighter for the Maybank Fire Department for 23 years. And during a Facebook conversation about what happened in Charleston, he wrote he needs to be praised for good deeds he has done. In the comment section, this was picked up. And obviously people took offense to it because at this point Dylan Roof is the deaths of 9 people in regards to the Emmanuel AME Church is being attributed to him that happened on June 17. Cook said he wasn't referring to Roof in his comment, that he was responding to somebody else's comment. He said, when I was looking at the thread, this is what he went on record saying when he spoke to an ABC station in Texas, KLTV, that he said he was looking through a thread, and you know how you read down and you see different people post different things, and somebody had mentioned that there had been a donation for a large sum of money to the victims, which might be the owner of the Carolina Panthers we talked about.
Oh, yes.
We have $100,000, $10,000 for each family, and an extra $10,000 for a memorial for the church.
Yes.
That could be, because that's so far the only donation I've heard about. And he said his response of, that's a good deed he has done, was in regards to that person's post. After numerous reports to the fire department, the Maybank Fire Department, they investigated the comments, and then they fired Cook and banned him from the property. Cook is like, I swear it's not what you think it is, but the Maybank Fire Department pretty much said they don't condone or promote this type of action and thought. And, obviously as a public, as they provide a public service, they felt that no matter how this unfolded, that they really didn't have a choice except for to, terminate their relationship with Curtis Cook.
Okay, so now what we have to do is we have to decide, is his...
I'm sorry.
No, you have to decide, is his explanation actually credible, and this is what he meant by posting needs to be praised. If not, that's one heck of a coincidence.
Here would be my recommendation to people, if you want to participate in Facebook conversations. Because whenever you post something, if you're responding, actually what Facebook has done now, if you see someone's comment, you can click on the reply
and just reply to them.
And then it shows, which makes me think that wasn't the case, that he just posted within the thread.
But you know what, I just almost
that's a new feature.
That is a new, because I just almost did that. And I was like, this is not where I meant to put it. I just had to delete something just right now.
So let's get you social media right, people.
Yes, get it together.
If you're replying there's 2 ways to really reply to somebody.
On the whole entire thread, or inside, you can have a conversation, just you and the person that posted.
So you can hit reply on their comment, and then you create a thread with them.
Yes.
Or, to keep safe, you put at Maya Akai.
Yes.
It highlights my name, and then it shows that you're replying to me. It lets me know you replied to me. That's how you used to have to do it before that new reply feature was put into the thread. Right. So there's still ways still to do it, but apparently it probably doesn't look like he did either. So once they investigated, it was probably, even though it would seem harebrained, that someone would make a comment like that and praise him in such a public forum and think they would.
And that's a firefighter. That seems insane.
And
I know and I know there's some crazy people in this world, but with all of the attention that has come and fallen under people who have lost their jobs via social media for making inappropriate comments and that kind of thing, even though he might not be Facebook savvy and know how to reply, I think and I would hope that he's intelligent enough to know that making these kind of comments would serve him no justice. So that's why I'm more inclined to think that maybe he just didn't respond correctly, and this wasn't towards Dylan Roof in praising him, but more so the philanthropist that donated the money.
You know, and when KLTV, which is the ABC affiliate there in Dallas, talked to the Maybank Fire Department, they said that in doing their investigation, that Cook didn't deny the post and asked what the problem was. Cook said the agency was under so much pressure that he just let them fire him and didn't respond and didn't cause a stink when they asked him about it.
Well, he's volunteer anyway.
Right, and he did say in an extended comment to the news outlet that, you know, it's making me look like I'm standing with this comment, like I'm supporting this Dylan Roof guy, and I would never do that. I'm not a racist. I've never been a racist. He said, I've never treated any incident different regardless of their race or religion, anything ever. And he said his main concern is that he may lose his full-time job because of this, when that was a volunteer position he had, but now he's afraid there may be repercussions
from his full-time job. I hope not. I really, really hope not. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt because I really think that you can't be this unintelligent to post something like this, being in the position that you hold, especially living in a southern state, so to speak, in Texas of all places. I'm like, you've got to know better. Right. So maybe, and I'm really, really hoping and praying that this was just something that kind of looked suspicious, but the intent behind it really was speaking towards the gentleman who donated the money to the victims of the families.
You know, human error can happen. We've all made mistakes.
Yes.
Now, mind you, you can go back and edit your post also.
But if you don't know,
but if you
didn't realize.
Send the text.
Yes, exactly, exactly. And I literally when we were coming back from break, I was responding and I was doing so fast, and I was like, oh, I didn't want this was within the conversation that I was having with somebody else, and I put it in the wrong place, and I was like, let me take that out.
This is one of those times I look at the situation and wonder if Curtis Cook really made a mistake.
I think he made a mistake.
You know, but here's the thing. As an employer, he's just a volunteer.
Right.
He kind of puts them in a difficult position that because they can't prove or disprove what his intention was, because it looks like that's exactly what he did. I think for them, they had to subscribe to, if it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, then it's a duck. I'm sorry. For what? No, I'm just kidding. But I feel bad for him, and I
do too.
I mean, only because he really might have. I've done something similar to this.
Yes.
Never saying something like this.
No.
But because I think plenty of us all made a similar mistake to this. Mm-hmm. But honestly, I'm mindful when I post. I know people waiting for me to say something wrong.
You know what? But I think that because I had family members, and I don't know how old this gentleman is, but I've had family members who aren't really that savvy. When Facebook was first, everybody was getting on, and you have aunts and uncles that are jumping on, and they don't know what they're doing. They thought they were inboxing me. So they were saying stuff. I was like, everybody can see what you're talking about. So you might want to get off my page. And they were like, oh, I didn't know everybody could see that. They just thought writing on my page was private, and I was the only one that could see it. So they were like, I don't know how this works. And so I don't know how old he is, but if you're not that, because I really don't know what happens in Twitterverse. I really, really don't, to be honest with you. So that's why I rarely tweet, because I was like, I'll mess around and say something and do something, and I was like, I did not mean to do that.
Me, when you do something wrong, people instantly keep it and put it for the world to see.
So I stay away from. I stay in my Facebook lane. I know how to do that, and I stay in the gram. I rarely go on Twitter because I don't know what I was tweeting myself. I was like, did I just tweet myself? And somebody was like, yes, you did. I was like, let me stay off of this, because I'm really, really going to cause some ruckus on Twitter. So maybe this was an innocent and honest mistake.
I would hope so. I don't know what to think of this, because here's the thing. I've seen people make mistakes that aren't. Sometimes people fail to put up the proper privacy settings and wonder why things happen. So a lot of people are not, they're using social media, but they're not quite sure of all the ways to use it properly.
Right.
And this may have been that case. I don't know. It's just really sad, and if he really, here's my thing, if he really if that's the case, I feel bad for the guy because unfortunately you're in a bad situation, and hopefully with your full-time employer.
I hope, yes.
Think about it, after 23 years, if people won't take you as credible.
And just volunteer.
I mean, but you volunteered your time for 23 years.
Right.
And if they won't take what you say as credible, I only hope that your full-time employer is going to believe in you a bit more. That's my thing is, don't you get some form of credibility if you've been with me for you've known me for 23 years. Have you ever heard me say or do something? So, that to me is a little unfortunate.
See, now here's my thing. So now, because I think that because again, social media has become this big platform and because everybody can see it and everybody can know about it. There was a time when employers would stand behind their employees and go, this person has worked for me for 23 years. I can vouch for them. There's no way. I know that there's no way. But now people are just walking up like, look, this is a fire that we don't even want around here. Put it out, stop it out, and you have got to go. And so it's no longer that day. So do you think that they should have backed him up, like after they investigated and said, you know what, considering the source and considering the person that's been here for 23 years and we know him, it looks like this could have been an innocent mistake. You think they should have stood behind him a little bit?
Here's a problem. Given the nature of this situation, how volatile it was, and what the comment was attributed to, like it seemed like he was, kind of on the side to the roof and kind of celebrating, the extinguishing of 9 lives of 9 innocent people.
Who would do that as a firefighter? That just doesn't make sense.
I would like to believe that people are a bit more intuitive in this, but we see how people go and post all the time, like with their job, right there at their job, talking about their job. How they hate their job or something stupid, thinking it's not going to result in termination. So what I'm saying is, I would like to believe that people have the wherewithal to know where to draw the line. Mm-hmm. But apparently, I told you, people become social media stupid. Mm-hmm. Yes. Like, I don't know why they think, like, even though it's in the cyber world, I guess they think it only exists in the cyber world and it's not going to bleed out into the real life. And it's not true. It does, all the time. We keep seeing examples of it repeatedly. So I feel bad for the guy, kind of, sort of, especially if he's being honest. If he's not, then to hell with him. But if indeed he's being honest, I kind of feel bad for him because it was a crazy mistake to make. But oh boy, we've all done things like, oh goodness, and sometimes you can't get it back. You know, and that's he said I'm not a racist, and he's on the defense, and then people start looking sideways like, oh, there goes Curtis Cook. So I would like to believe that he's not.
I hope
that kind of person. I hope at least he doesn't lose his full-time job. Right. He honestly made a mistake.
Yeah.
All right, so you get the other. You get the whole Facebook petty. You sent me a copy of a meme.
Yes.
They run wild and rampant.
They do.
On social media,
which I usually don't pay attention to, and I rarely comment, especially with people I don't know and I'm not really familiar with. I just look and I keep it moving. But yesterday, I came across this meme and I was like, and I scrolled past and then I was like, and then I was like, I gotta kind of say something because I don't want you to walk around and think like you have a valid point in this world when this is just the dumbest thing I've ever seen. So here it is. So it was a meme and it was a picture of the Confederate flag, and then how it's 2 pictures within one meme.
Right.
So at the top it said, if this flag comes down because you're offended. And then it's a picture of the Confederate flag. And then under it is clearly 2 African-American teenagers with their pants sagging, and you can see their underwear. And then it says, then pull these up because it offends me.
It offends me too.
Thank you.
He ain't the only one. I'm offended too. But that's not even the same conversation.
That's not the same conversation.
Simulating the word of the day.
Yes. And so my point was, and I said it, I didn't go rogue, but what I said was not that I'm condoning the saggy pants movement, because I do not. And it also offends me as well. I'm like, that is someone's personal choice. If people want to personally wear their pants that way, they absolutely can. Just as people have the right to still display the Confederate flag on their own personal property, either in their front lawn or in the window of their car or on the back of their jacket. They absolutely have the right to do that. What you can't do is impede that in a public place. Government and otherwise, you can't do that. Those are 2 separate issues.
Right.
So what you do personally, if it offends you, you just have to get over it. But we don't have to look at this flying over buildings where we pay taxes and we live, and it's a symbol of hatred. And so I made that point, and I was like, I'm prepared for the backlash. Nobody said anything. And that's when the girl actually commented and said, this was not a symbol of hatred for me growing up, but I do see how it offends other people.